Hey there, home chefs. Egg fried rice is something any home chef has to have in their repertoire, and I've got the special ingredient to make yours the best in town. We're making Nasi Goreng today, which literally means fried rice in Indonesian, but it's very commonly served with egg, thus egg fried rice. I spent 6 months living in Jakarta, and it was there that I learnt what makes the fried rice I would order so delicious compared to my bland rice at home. The trick is not to rely on soy sauce like I used to, but to use Ketjap Manis. This sauce is a sweetened, thickened soy sauce that provides a wonderful sweet and savoury depth of flavour, but also gives the rice that signature darker look. Let's face it, we eat with our eyes a lot, and this really makes the food pop. You can't always find this in the supermarket, so I'll add a link down below on where to buy it on Amazon. Be sure to get yourself a bottle and transform your egg fried rice. Nasi Goreng is amazing as its own dish, but as we are making Indonesian food, I'm adding some extras to complete the meal. Let's start with another Indonesian classic, Satay Chicken. To start with, grab some chicken thighs and dice them into bite-sized pieces. Add them into a bowl and we'll marinate them with a teaspoon of ginger, a teaspoon of cumin, and half a teaspoon garlic salt. Next, drizzle over some oil, preferably not olive oil, but it's all I had. And then it's time for our guest of honor. Add a good helping of the Ketjap Manis, don't be shy with it. And then get everything mixed together. Did I need to do that with my hands? No, I did not. Do I regret it? Yes, I do. There we are, clean again. Once everything is incorporated, leave it to marinate for at least an hour to really get the flavour and colour into the chicken. Now for cooking the chicken. As I said, it would typically be cooked on a skewer, but I find this is unreliable, and the whole piece doesn't cook evenly as the skewer limits its contact with the pan. So instead I fry them as normal, and then we'll add them to a skewer afterwards for presentation and eating. Heat up a pan with some oil on a medium-high heat, then spread the chicken evenly on the pan. Do this in batches if needed, so we don't crowd the pan. Then leave them unmoved for 6 or 7 minutes until we see a nice char forming. Then turn over the pieces and cook for 5 or 6 minutes more. The caramelization from the Ketjap Manis gives this chicken a whole nother level of flavour. Remove from the heat and let that rest while I show you a satay sauce that blew my mind the first time I ate it. Start by melting some butter over medium heat, then add some finely chopped shallots and let sweat for 5 minutes until they become translucent. Then mix in some minced garlic and ginger and let that cook for a further minute or so before allowing to cool. Then add that into a food processor or blender with 3 tablespoons of peanut butter and of course some more of our Ketjap Manis. Although with this I add a bit of normal soy sauce as well for that extra umami. Then blend that all into a smooth paste. Full disclosure here while I have you, all of these recipes should absolutely include chilies for a bit of heat, but unfortunately I don't deal with spicy well, so I tend to omit that when I cook. But if you're okay with spicy, you've got to add chilies. Now, take your satay paste and add it into a large bowl. Pour over a splash of warm water and stir and mix that all in, adding more water until it reaches your desired consistency. That's the satay sauce done. Now let's get on to the nasi. Everyone has their own way to cook rice. I'm not going to go too much into it, but the key here is that we make it the night before so it can dry out sufficiently for frying. Be sure to wash the rice, and then I use a rice cooker like I had in Jakarta. It's easy and leaves the thinking to the machine. I add 1 cup rice to about 1.5 cups of water, or roughly where the water above the rice reaches my thumb knuckle. I then add just a bit of salt to the water and let the rice cooker do its thing. Next thing you know, boom, perfectly cooked rice. I fluff the rice up a bit with a non-metal spoon. I was told that helps prevent breaking the grains, and then we can store that overnight in the fridge, ready to be fried tomorrow. Okay everyone, it's egg fried rice day. Let's get the rest of the ingredients prepped. The key ingredient is spring onion. Split the lower white part from the green tops and slice the lower half nice and small and the greens on a slight bias for garnish. Next up is peppers. They are one of my favourite. There we go. Anyway, chop off the top and slice down from the base to cut around the middle bit. Then trim off any excess white parts and dice into small chunks. Use a combination of pepper colours for visual effect. With the prep done, it's time to cook. Grab your day-old rice and make sure to use either a wok or a deep-sided pan for this. Egg fried rice is simple, but can still go wrong with the wrong tools or techniques. Heat up some sesame oil and begin frying the spring onions on a high heat. And after a few minutes, add in the diced peppers. Sprinkle in some ground ginger and garlic salt and continue cooking for a few minutes. I like to coat the veg in a bit of soy sauce before the rice goes in, so it's a bit more salty. Throw in a toss or two for good measure. Next up is the main ingredient, and I always struggle to not get a bit of clumping in the rice. If anyone knows a trick for this, please let me know in the comments. Now we add the Ketjap Manis, and you will immediately see why this is such a good ingredient. It coats and dyes the rice into a really appetizing fried colour, really takes this dish to the next level. Once the rice is fully coated, form a well in the middle and crack in 2 whole eggs. Add a touch more Ketjap Manis, and then using chopsticks, or a fork if you don't have them, begin beating the eggs while they start to cook. Then, slowly start bringing in the rice from the sides, and then eventually get everything mixed in. This allows for a few curds to form, as well as coating the rice for overall flavour. The final step is the glorious MSG. Don't think I forgot about it. Sprinkle in the flavour enhancer, and then give everything a few more minutes to finish cooking, and you will have Nasi Goreng worthy of any takeaway night. Right, now let's plate up. For the fancier option, let's get the rice moulded into a nice mound. Sprinkle over some spring onions, naturally, and then, as promised, we've got the chicken satay on a skewer. Good looking and practical, just like me. Moving on swiftly. A fried egg is definitely called for to complete the look. And then the final step is our satay sauce, which I'll generously lay over the chicken. And what you have is a beautiful triumph of Indonesian cuisine that, trust me, is as good as anything from the takeaway, all thanks to our special ingredient. But if you're cooking for a crowd, egg fried rice really shines when piling it up into a big old bowl for everyone to dig into. Serve that with the chicken and sauce separately on the table, sprinkle over some sesame seeds, preferably toasted, and let everyone tuck in. There we have Nasi Goreng with chicken satay, better than takeaway. More made possible by the wonderful Ketjap Manis. Be sure to grab a bottle yourself, and in the meantime, stay tuned for more delicious recipes and tips for home chefs like yourselves. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. Until then, get cooking, and may the Zen be with you.